Hey, good morning, guys. It's Goose here, and welcome to STN Stock Talk with Ricky and myself. Have a little special edition today on something I want to go over with you guys that I think is going to be really helpful for some of you. So I'm going to get right into our things because I'm not sure how much I'm going to chit chat about it, but I would like to help you guys out a little bit. So guys, just to mention, if for some reason you have more questions about something I covered this morning, especially I'm going to be going over this LFIN and the gray sheets a little bit this morning and give you some insight on that. I do have it. I was a prior market maker, licensed 55 for a while, so I do very familiar with these type of markets and stuff. So maybe it'll be able to help you out with some really basic questions. Come over to stocktraders.net. We have a free trading floor over there. If you want more questions, feel free to send me a message. I'll be happy to try to help you out. Obviously, at the open, it's going to be a little bit tight, but I definitely will be here for you guys. So with that all being said, make sure you guys read the disclaimer, read it in the description area, guys. Please come check us out over at stocktraders.net. And let's get right into it so I can spend a couple extra minutes at this regarding what I want to talk about at the end here. So, Ricky, over to you, man.
Dun, dun, dun. Who knew Goose was really the guy with the tips? I'm excited. I'm not going to waste any time because I'm really looking forward to hearing this too. So I'm going to just jump right into SBOT. That's definitely the Ricky tip today, the turd in play. And they just did an offering like 10 days ago, and they're already in the money. I think the offering was like 265. It was 1.5 million shares or something like that with around 2 million warrants at the same price. Now, I don't think there's enough meat on the bone yet. So depending on who bought the offering, that would really kind of dictate what the float is right now. With the OS being 2.9 million, I have my feeling that somebody or a very few people scoop pretty much that whole offering, and the float might still be right around 1.5 million. It doesn't really matter. The float's tiny. That's all you need to really know. There is overhead supply, but if it was all Savvy and a few other people that bought this offering, they may not be looking to unload into this move. But as always, if it gets silly extended, you're not going to be able to ignore it. You're going to have to come in with some risk management skills. You're going to have to find an area to get short against, because I think if this thing wants to close this gap and push 4, I'm going to be definitely looking for the short. Always use good risk management, though. Do not get on the front side of these things. I've seen it happen so many times. Sub 5 million share float just rip in the faces of all these shorts that think it can't go any higher. I mean, think back to recent runners like IMTE going, I think it was like 1,500% in one day. You guys got to stay off the front side. I won't stress that enough. It's one of those things we constantly hammer into the people in the room, and I'm always trying to spread it through the YouTube live stream as well. But that's where we're at. Next thing on the list, guys, is NTAP, NTAP. Now, they were an earnings play, but if I recall, they missed, or it wasn't the greatest of earnings. I mean, they're down a little bit. They have a bunch of different price raises, which one of them is funny. It was raised from 43 from 40, which we're still above, and that was Deutsche Bank, and they're still calling it a sell. I'm not super stoked on the trade, but there are some key levels. You guys can see the trend line that I drew. You see these levels here, these price levels that we're watching. I believe if we kind of get under where we're at right now, actually, I didn't realize that it just broke recently. There's not a lot of volume right now pre-market, so I'm not going to go too heavily off this, but you guys can see the level I'm watching. You see all this consolidation pre-market and yesterday's post-market. Under that, I'm bearish. If we can get back over that, I might probably just take it off watch and not play it at all. 1 second here. Let's see. The next thing on the list, guys, is WUBA, WUBA, China name. And you can see it's another earnings play. And this little kind of upward wedge that it's been forming, I really like these when they break to the downside. I think they really have decent moves down when they do. Now the earnings, if I recall on this one, it was like they topped on revenue. They were just in line with the earnings, and I think they were right around expectations for their guidance as well for the coming future. And basically, it's just another technical play. If we break south of this wedge, I think we might see a bit of a wash. I'm not in love with it. SBOT's really the main focus for me today. but I did want to throw these out there since they were earnings plays and they do have some technical levels. Now that you guys know that, I want to hand it right over to my man Goose so we can hear what he's got. Take it away, buddy.
Hey, I appreciate it. I'm going to try to do this in a way that is going to be helpful. But let me just start off with first things first. I do want to talk about Williams-Sonoma for a second. I really like what they came out with the numbers. I drew a pre-market fib here, and you can kind of see it's holding this 40% area. I put in there that I'd love to see some sort of wash at the open in this 52, 53 for some continuation on the long side. It'll definitely be one of my top watches. I want to see how it acts. And I really like this play for a long. I just wrote in there also that I'm going to be looking this 57 area, as you can see on the daily, up towards 57, which it is now, to see if it wants to stuff up in there in the pre-market levels for possibly a backside move. Doesn't mean I don't think the numbers are great and so forth. So that's one thing I want to touch base with WSM. Also, we're going to throw in a quick freebie for you guys, and that's on EIGR. I've been following it the last few days and kind of holding on. I think I'm pretty, they did a 1250 secondary pricing. I've been following the stock. I'm actually going to look for a long opportunity on this thing. I think it's a pretty decent pricing. And I think that I like the long. It's got some really good coverage on the name. Not sure it's even going to touch 1250. We'll see at the open, but if it comes close to it, I'm going to start a long and I might actually swing it. I actually like the idea down there and I like the pricing that they did for a continuation after a couple of days. I think this is going to be a nice one. So with that being said, I'm going to try to do this the best I can. It has to do with LFIN, which is a gray sheet stock, and I have experience. I was a market maker for quite a few years, and I'm familiar with all the different markets. So I want to talk about the gray sheets for a while, and I posted in our community that I was going to cover, and I got a couple questions immediately saying, "Oh my God, I have no idea what to do." So here's a couple things about the gray sheets. First of all, when they go to the gray sheets, all of them go caveat emptor. Okay, so don't worry about all that. This is the lowest tier of the OTC markets. Every one of the firms that I've known and dealt with all have to do everything through phone. I don't know anywhere that that you can necessarily route through whether you're using a Speed Trade or Centerpoint, Interactive, any of these places. So have in mind, be prepared to call your firm, whatever you're at, and put in an order, for this, whether you're long or short or whatever your position is on the thing. I want to talk to you about a couple things though, and I don't know. So every firm is different, okay? And on the grays, and things might have changed a little bit. So I'm just going to do my best to give you some advice and some thoughts. But guys, the ball's in your court. You guys have the positions on. I'm just trying to give you through experience. I think this should help you. If you have the option to put in a order as a held or a not held order, if you're verbally giving the order, please try to put in a held order, okay? And what that allows you to do is it fully represents the order at the price you're giving versus a not held order, okay? If you put an order in it not held, and let's say you put in that couple bucks, I have no idea where the stock's going to open, so I'm just throwing our arbitrary numbers. If you put in to sell, let's say you're long and you just want to get out, and you put in an order to sell 5,000 shares at $2 held, they have to represent that order as a held order down at $2, 5,000 shares. If you put it in as a not held order, okay, the market maker can take that order and trade against it, and they will trade against it, okay? I have the experience to tell you they will trade against it. The gray sheets is the largest wild west, and there are some firms, the Sistis, all these firms that destroy it on the gray sheets, okay? There is so much money to make on the gray sheets. It's just a complicated market. It's all done by phone, and the firms, the way they work, usually have to call a few different places to get orders and get the prices on these things. So it's a very complicated market. Another thing, to talk about is what's the stock going to do? Okay, so there's a few thoughts on this. There's shorts, there's longs, so forth. I've always found, and this is just my experience, okay, guys, with other positions that I've had, whether it's as a market maker or whatever, when they go to the gray sheets, in my experience, there has been maybe 1 or 2 times that I've remembered some sort of squeeze, okay, on something like this, and don't let somebody sell you on that. Usually the first day is the opportunity that I've found in my past. Okay, so if you're short this name, as far as that's when people are covering. Okay, so that's when there's bids around. So if you're long the stock, or if I was long this stock, let's talk about if I had a position in it, I would try to be out of this day one and utilize the shorts and everything else for my that are going to obviously put out bids for me to hit to get out of my long. I'm just giving you through experience. That's when usually you see bids around. Once those bids dry up from the short covering and all that, this thing could drop to nothing, and you're going to see spreads of 10 cents to $5 and stuff like that, and it becomes the Wild West. So just a little idea is if you're long, I always in the past have used this day as an opportunity to have the with the shorts and stuff like that out there to hit. This is not a name. It is a complete junk now. Okay, guys, it's on the gray sheets. Don't let anything else convince you otherwise. Once they go to the grays, can they turn around? Yeah, sure. I get the lotto tomorrow too. Okay, so my point is utilize these opportunities. We get so sold, and I know I'm rambling a little bit, but I really think this is helpful. We get so sold on really thinking like, well, it's $2, maybe it's going to squeeze up to 4 or 5. I'm telling you from experience, 9 times out of 10 or even greater than that, they just come lower, lower, lower into worthless names. They end up reverse splitting and all that eventually if they get they're raised to the tier on the pinks or whatever it is. So today is a big day, I think, for you guys that do have a position to utilize. If you're a gambler and you want to roll the dice to get higher prices, but I've always said it, hit a bid when you have a bid. You understand? So if there's bids today, make sure you take advantage of that. Is my opinion. And again, I want to reiterate: this is not any solicitation or any guidance in that sort. I'm not licensed anymore to give you kind of advice. I'm just trying to share with you guys some experience because I think some of you guys are a little bit lost in this. And when you call your firm, they might give you a hard time at first, just so you know, but they have the ability to reach out to other firms. So they'll find out who's making a market in LFIN today. And I think it's going to be a pretty decent amount coming down from the NASDAQ. Okay. So I do think that possibility is there. All right. So needless to say, they should call you. You're probably going to have to call the firm, wherever it is that you're at, and ask them to speak to their trade desk and say you'd like to put in an order, ask them if it could be held or not held, and then make sure that you guys, put your phone in and be specific. Don't give them ranges, okay? Let that Manning rule come into effect where they have to give you the best price and stuff like that. So just be really smart about it today, guys. And I'm going to end with that. I don't know what else to cover with this. I hope this was a little bit of help to you guys. I know there's things that I might not have covered that you guys are going, well, what about this? Guys, listen. It takes 2 seconds to plug in your email at stocktraders.net. Today's not a day I'm not trying to get 100 members to sign up. I'm trying to help you guys. If you want to hit me up for help, sign up there and ask a simple question. I have no problems trying to answer it. I'll be handling the open on screen share at 9:30, so it might be a little bit challenging, but I'll do my best. So come over to stocktraders.net to get more direct answers if you have any. Obviously, it's not going to be guidance. I'm not a market maker. I don't work for a firm anymore. I work for myself. But I'm just trying to give you guys a little bit of hand because I know some of you guys are really lost, and I know there's some people out there. If you have a position, you're already in the room, feel free to message me. I know I already got a few messages this morning when I said I would talk about this topic. And with that all being said, I hope that was helpful a little bit. I'm not sure what else to cover with it, but I really wanted to emphasize the hit a bid when you have a bid type thing, because I'm telling you, I've seen all these things and everybody goes, maybe this is going to be the one to squeeze on the grays and it's going to go up $10 and I'm going to actually not get crushed on it. And then 2 days later, they're like, oh my God, this is actually trading at a nickel. How the hell does that happen? How did it not squeeze? And it is the most manipulated market in the world. They could do whatever they want as market makers, guys. Okay, I'm telling you this from experience. It's so manipulated, that gray sheets. And I've seen people destroy it, make $2 or $3 on a trade of a stock that's trading $3 or $4. So be smart. Sometimes we just got to eat it and move on and put it behind us and make sure we know where we're standing. Sometimes that's the best move. So anyway, guys, good luck today. Stay safe. Let's have a great day, and look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow at 9:05. Ricky, back to you, man.
Wow. Just wow. That was amazing. Thank you, Goose, for sharing that with everybody. Guys, if you are not sold on the kind of value you can be provided over at stocktraders.net, I don't know what else to say. Head on over, sign up, show up every day, be ready to learn, be ready to contribute, be ready to be part of a great community. Guys, come on over, get yourself a plan. Without a plan, you have no trade. Stay safe out there, protect your capital, and let's go out there and crush it. Peace.